Freestyle travel. Hey everybody, this is Kenny Flannery, your host as always. Last episode I was in Athens, Greece. This episode I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, the USA. It's been a good month. It's been a great month, covered a lot of ground, obviously. That last episode I was in Greece. That was kind of the last stop in a little stint through Europe. I was catching a flight to New York, so that's what I was going to chat about this episode. Getting over to the United States, catching up with all three of my brothers, which I didn't realize was kind of happening until it happened 3 for 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3, all the way down the East Coast to the US. Some other family as well. And then, basically getting down the East Coast and then hitching straight west through Asheville and Nashville and just getting the summer started. Summer officially starts tomorrow, I think. Officially. So I think it's going to be a good one. A little bit of northern U.S. probably coming up. But let me get into getting back to the U.S. and checking in, like I said, with some brothers of mine and just hitchhiking along, having a good time. And why I am here in Nashville, which is basically trip hopping related. So I'll tell you about some of the newest stuff I'm working on, but as always, go to triphopping.com and check out the app if you haven't already. The app I've been working on just to make travel easy for searching for transportation related stuff, to keeping track of your friends and stuff. Keep track of me if you want to. I'm usually live on the site, so you can see pretty much where I am and what I'm up to, and come grab a beer if you want to. So I'll get into all of that, but let's hop on the flight from Greece to New York City and get after it. Alright, so spent my birthday there in Athens. Spent a few nights there. Wound up finding like a couple good beer spots the last couple nights I was in town. It's pretty fun altogether. Stayed with those 3 roommates who were mostly busy doing their own thing, and there's some cyclists from Colorado who turned up as well, another guest. That's the cool thing about staying with 3 roommates that host like Couchsurfers, Trust Routes, People Will Be Welcome, is that there's a decent chance, along with 3 awesome people, that there might be another guest there as well. That was the case there. So good way to end the little stint in Europe. But then the day came to catch the flight, straight flight to JFK. I used trip hopping to find the flight, just because trip hopping allows me to be super broad, because I just wanted to get across the Atlantic Ocean, didn't really care from where to where. And through trip hopping, you can do a search from Europe to United States within a month in my case, and it turned up Athens to JFK. So pretty handy. Any of you guys who've been following my story, been on the road for exactly 18 years, almost now. In a couple weeks it'll be exactly 18 years, but the last place I actually lived was New York City, and that's also more or less where I grew up. I grew up mostly within an hour of the city, so I'll always take a trip to New York. It's always a good time. So I was excited for that, and one of my brothers lives in New York, lives in Manhattan, so it was going to be perfect. So it's exactly what I did. Landed there, made my way to his place. He's moved around here and there since he's lived in the city, but now he's living just a couple blocks from Grand Central, right there in Midtown Manhattan. So pretty perfect, pretty central little spot. So caught up with him. Bit of a basketball fan, so while I was there, the Knicks were still in the playoffs, ended up getting knocked out, but it was nice being able to watch a few of those games with my brother. We didn't go to Madison Square Garden or anything like that, just watched on TV, went to some bars and stuff, caught up. Saw my stepdad in town, hadn't seen him in a year or two. Saw a couple other friends, someone I went to high school with, owns a venue as of late. So there's like some music there, just checking out his spot, more downtown a little bit. Another friend who I met recently in Phoenix, helped out with the trip hopping project a little bit. He was in the area, so grabbed a beer with him. Actually, that same night, we went to my other friends to that little venue. So pretty cool. New York's always that. There's always some like old school familiar faces like family, and then some other people popping in. It's just one of those cities. I mean, any of you guys listening, even if you've never been to New York City, if you were to go there, there's a chance someone you know is there, either living or visiting. It's just, one of the great cities we got on Earth. So, always a good time. And from there, I knew I wanted to head south. One of my big targets was going to Nashville. I got a buddy there I haven't seen in a little bit. He's been living with his girlfriend, and he's been texting me and calling me over the past months and year. He's been talking about wanting to open a brewery maybe and things like this. So I was like, all right, I definitely want to see him. And my thought was if I was going to go to Asheville, I might as well start on the coast of North Carolina, where I've got some other family. So there's a super cheap Chinatown bus that went to Virginia Beach. So that was like a nice way to launch out of the city very easily, cheaply, and quickly. So I did that, went to Chinatown, hopped on this bus. Also found that on trip hopping. Trip hopping is becoming exceptionally useful. That's why I built it. Pretty cool. Got down there, and Virginia Beach was double duty because this guy picked me up hitchhiking, I don't know how long ago now, 2-3 years ago, when I was in Delaware, and we stayed in touch, and I've seen him once in Virginia Beach, and this was going to be the second time just to hang out. So I ended up hanging out with him and his wife and some of his other family and friends and stuff over the course of a few days. That was pretty cool. He's got one of those e-bikes. I don't know if you guys have rode those like e-bikes, but they're pretty nice. Like the one that he has, I got it up to like 30 miles an hour. I think it goes up to like 32 if you're really like going, which is pretty good pace. And it'll go 100 miles on the charge. I'm like, this thing is sick. I drove it around for a few days, never charged it, just around town while he was at work and doing stuff and having fun. And I was like, hey, you can kind of travel with this thing. You can definitely travel with the thing. Because what's great is you can, maybe it's not breaking news to any of you, e-bike stuff, but you can pedal, obviously, like when it runs out of battery, you can still pedal, so you can still move. And I was just thinking, man, you could travel like 100 miles at a time, and you can like pop the battery out, so you can kind of like go into a coffee shop or wherever and sort of charge the battery low key. Yeah, and just kind of keep it moving. Have an extra battery in a backpack or something. I don't know. Not something I'll probably ever do, but definitely something to think about. And just fun. Just being on there is just kind of fun. Because you feel like you are on a bicycle, but you're going like fucking 30 miles an hour on the flats. So anyways, that was fun, just catching up with him. And he knows I like breweries and stuff. This guy in Virginia Beach, so we did some of that. Also, he had I don't know what, he had tickets to Busch Gardens. So we went to Busch Gardens, which is something I haven't kind of done since I was a kid. Actually, I did go to Busch Gardens when I was a kid. My grandparents lived in Virginia for a little stint. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on like roller coasters and stuff, and not something I would do on my own, but super fun. So we just like spent the day just like waiting in lines and going on these like pretty epic roller coasters, pretty good ones there in Busch Gardens. And yeah, just like sort of an unexpected, hey, you want to go on some roller coasters? Like, fuck yeah, let's go. So did some of that, super cool. And then, so my next stop was going to be Greenville, North Carolina. So my youngest brother is going to school there. He's living there during the summer too. And it was a stop before like Sneed's Ferry, Wilmington, kind of where more of my family lives. So that was my next stop, like 2-3 hour drive away. And yeah, buddy in Virginia Beach has one of the original Teslas. So he's grandfathered into free supercharging. which is freaking awesome. And he just felt like driving that day. So yeah, I didn't even have to hitchhike. He just drove me on down there. Had to stop once to charge for like 20 minutes, and yeah, dropped me off right at my little brother's, I guess it's not a dorm, but it's like student living apartments or whatever. So caught up with him for 2 or 3 nights there. Met his girlfriend over there. She was cool. Got to see the like idea lab kind of thing he works at on campus. My little brother's big into like 3D printers and stuff like that. So this little idea lab where he works on campus, they've got a bunch of 3D printers. They've got stuff to print on shirts. So I had made a couple trip hopping shirts just for fun. They have a sewing machine, which I used to make a repair in my backpack. They've got they got all kinds of stuff in there. So kind of a fun spot. And Greenville's pretty chill. It's just a little college town kind of vibe. So I also just walked around the town, getting a feel for it. There's a couple breweries in town. One was called Pitt Street, was pretty good. The other one, I think, was called Uptown. It was not so interesting. There's a distillery, which kind of sucked. I went there with my brother and his girlfriend, thinking I would just, because he had talked about it, but, you know, hasn't really been in there. I'm like, all right, let's go pop in there. It was kind of weird because they made all these like cocktails and stuff, but they like refused to give me just a vodka. I'm like, can I just get like a spoonful of vodka? I just want to like taste what it is you make and not what you make diluted in an espresso martini, you know? But they wouldn't do it. I was like, do a shot of vodka? And they're like, we'll do a shot of vodka in a pickle. I'm like, well, that sounds awesome. But I mean, I just want to try the actual vodka pure. They wouldn't do it. Kind of goofy. But yeah, had a good night with my brother and his girlfriend, just running around town. Doing the little bar scene thing too, which is not his normal style. But definitely something fun to do, playing some pool and stuff. And yeah, caught up with him and then hitchhiked down to the coast after a few days kicking it with him. Hitchhiking to the coast took like 6 rides, and that was kind of like back roads, country roads, hitchhiking predominantly all the way down, which can sometimes be hit or miss. You know, sometimes when you're out in the country, you're literally just like walking by people's mailboxes and stuff. Like, sometimes it works in your favor pretty well because people are like, what are you doing out here? And you don't really seem like a threat, you know, because you're out in the country. So people will give you a ride more often. And the first ride was like that. It was just some guy, Glenn, who owned like an auto repair shop, took me there. But then it kind of slowed down a little bit, but eventually it picked up enough, and I got all the way down to Sneed's Ferry, which is like kind of on the coast there. Caught up with my dad, caught up with my older brother there. Retired Marine Corps. That's what kind of brought him down to that area. There's a Marine Corps base in that kind of spot. So spent 2 or 3 days catching up with them as best as I could. Always pretty nice. I was like, I did like the trifecta of brothers. Saw them all in like the course of a week or two. It's like, that's pretty cool. Plus my dad, stepmom, and all that. So that was pretty good. And then it's like, all right, now it's time to get on out to, Asheville and start making that move. So to get to Asheville from there is like a 6-hour drive. So I'm like, I should probably be able to do this in a day. Have before. And I ended up getting 10 rides that day. The first 5 rides came pretty quick, and I was like, all right, I'm cruising, like pretty cruising. Like started going through Raleigh, and I was just not waiting very long and getting quick rides. And then somewhere around Durham, it just started to slow down a little bit. This one guy, Mexican guy, didn't speak much English. I think he was trying to help me out, but like, I don't know, I ended up like going back to his place and undoing his trailer, and I don't know. And then he ended up getting me to this spot that was not the best. And then from there, like, the police gave me a hard time on the on-ramp, and I got like 3 one exit rides in a row. I was like, whatever. Like, when shit is slow, it's like you just take whatever ride you can get. So I gladly took those 1 mile, 2 mile rides, just kind of hopping along. My buddy Christian, who I was going to see in Nashville, he was hitting me up along the whole way, just trying to see where I was at, and told me he was down to pick me up if it got late, which is eventually what happened. So somewhere around Durham, I got this ride from this guy and his son, and they said they were going to Charlotte, so I was like, that'll get me to Winston-Salem. And then the dude missed the turn. We were just talking, and he missed the turn, and that's when I realized he was like pretty drunk. He did hand me a beer, just like a light beer, but then I was like, oh, this dude's been drinking on these beers. But when he missed the turn, he was just like, I'll just take you all the way to Asheville. I'm like, that's like not on your way. But I'm like, all right. I mean, he was enjoying talking to me and stuff, and that happens. People do enjoy conversation and end up taking you a little further than they might sometimes. So I'm like, all right, I guess we're going to Asheville. Sweet. So we're cruising, and then we get like just over an hour away, and then they want to stop for food, but then we went to like some wing restaurant, and all he was really doing was using the bathroom. And a 14-year-old kid was his kid. So he like ordered a soda, and then the dad's like, what are you talking about? We're not eating here. And the waitress is like, what? So then we're like driving around, and then we finally get after like a gas station thing, and he's chatting up everybody in the gas station about whatever. And then we get to this wing stop, and we're at this wing stop, and he's like on his phone, like trying to make an order on his phone, something about coupons and stuff, and he's back and forth to the counter. I'm like, oh, they still haven't ordered yet. And I'm like, what are they doing? And after like an hour or more of just like dicking around, still hadn't ordered. He's like, yeah, we're not gonna have time to go to Asheville. We're gonna have to take the next turn to Charlotte. I'm like, oh, that makes sense, but I wish I hadn't been caught up in your stuff for the last hour and a half, because at this point it was, getting on sunset. So I'm like, all right. Yeah, and then I had to like walk back to the highway from where they were, because they still hadn't made their Wingstop order. Trying to get whatever coupon or whatever he was trying to do. That's what happens sometimes. You think someone's helping you out, and maybe they are, but you end up just getting caught up in their whatever they're doing. They might still be at that Wingstop. I don't know. But I texted my buddy Christian. I was like, yeah, it's this situation. I'm here. And he's like, I'm just going to come pick you up. Because, it was like an hour away at that point. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I hung out for an hour, and then, he scooped me up. And I'd actually seen him like 6 months earlier, so not too long ago. He's got a girlfriend there in Nashville, so he's been there for, I don't know, maybe a year now, or at least 6 months, I don't know. So we caught up, and he's been saving all these like big imperial stouts. He's been texting me. I've been, in Belgium. I've been in Spain, and I don't know, I'll get a text from Christian just like, or a picture of some epic imperial stout, like 15%er that he's got, and he's been stashing for me. And here I was finally getting there to drink on this stash. So spent a few days there in Nashville. I wasn't sure how long I was going to spend there, because like I said, he was talking about opening a brewery and wanting some advice and this and that. But when I got there, I found out that he wasn't really doing much of any of that. It was just sort of a thought that he had, and not something he was motivated enough to pursue, at least not on his own. So it was still fun, just drinking these big old beers. One of my favorite breweries, and the only brewery that he likes in town, is called Burial. So we went there 1 or 2 times. They've got some really good beers. If you're ever in Nashville and you like imperial stouts, that is the one that I would recommend. Burial, a couple locations, both are good. We're just doing some of that. and catching up. Went to White Labs. His girlfriend was like doing some house sitting and junk, and also had to go to Florida, so I really only hung out with her for like an hour or two when she was back, like packing or whatever. But he had a big bus that he bought a while ago he was going to travel with, but it's just been, I guess he did some traveling with it, but it's just been sitting in storage for a while, so I got to check out that bus real quick. It's just like an old classic school bus that's been painted and converted to be like a camper that he's selling now. So briefly met some dude he was selling it to, and looked like he probably made the sale. But yeah, I was like, all right, time to keep it moving. And just like the whole house sitting, dog sitting thing that his girlfriend just sort of jogged my memory. I was like, oh yeah, I got that like free, I guess you'd call it a subscription to trustedhousesitters.com. Trusted House Sitters is exactly what it sounds like. It's a website for finding people who've got dogs or cats, or sometimes like chickens and cows and stuff. That's crazy. But you pay like a yearly whatever to the website, but then between the house sitter and the people with the houses and the pets, it's like there's no money exchanged there, but you go and watch somebody's dogs and stay in their house for a few days or a few weeks, even maybe even as long as a month. I used it once, and then somehow my referral code got there out into the wind. You can probably use it too, but a lot of people have used my referral code, so I'm like, I've got free trusted house sitter stuff until like 2030 or something crazy like that. So it's just, so I'm like, I should really kind of use that to get some trip hopping stuff done, you know. So I was looking at spots around Asheville and the area, and then yeah, I found this place in Nashville. This guy who was leaving town going somewhere with a dog, and like a little 10-day little thing. So I was like, oh, that'd be cool. That's sort of the direction I want to go. Messaged him. He said yes right away. So I was like, all right, destination Nashville. So peaced out to Christian, left Asheville there after a good time. And I left a couple days early just in case, and I'm glad I did, because the first day was real slow. Real slow. It took 2 hours to get a ride initially. And then I was pretty excited because this pickup truck stopped, and it was this older guy. And he said he was going to Nebraska. Like, oh, hell yeah. So I'm like, all right, one straight shot, one ride. The road to Nebraska goes through Nashville from there. But yeah, this guy was a little different. He was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about anything. When you're my age, you won't give a fuck. And he's just, you know, one of those no bullshit kind of guys. Like, had his pickup, had his tent going. He's like, I'm just going to go to Nebraska and just sit in the river for 2 months. Got my spot. At one point we stopped to get some beers, and he's like, yeah, well, I don't want to drink and drive. Just drink in the parking lot here. He's like, if the police stop me, it's going to be it. He's like, actually, I'm wanted, you know. So once they get me, that's kind of it. He's like, don't worry, it's nothing dangerous. But yeah, I'm like, all right, fair enough. So we drank some crappy cans of beer in the parking lot there, and then got it moving. And he had been saying that he was tired, but like, I don't know, it was like he was like tired of life, you know. But it was a combination, I guess. He was tired of life as a whole, and he was also tired on the day. I don't know how much he had slept, and he said he'd been out there to Nebraska before, and like it seemed like he'd just been like living out of his truck, just going around maybe, but his sense of like time and space was just skewed, and maybe because he was drinking a little bit, but he's like, he asked me how far we were from Nebraska like a few times. I'm like, bro, you're not getting there today. Like, he's like, so I gotta turn right in Oklahoma. I'm like, yeah, I guess you can look at it that way. You gotta turn right in Oklahoma, but I'm like, you're not getting there today either. Like, you got another 8-10 hours to get there. So anyways, we're cruising, and this dude was just kind of all over the road. Like we just scraped up against a wall at one point. He didn't even care. It was like a bumper car. The car was a piece of shit. The dashboard was gone. He just had like a carpet on top of the dashboard to like kind of throw stuff up there. It's kind of a mess, this guy. He's like, yeah, when I get to Nebraska, I'm just gonna give this truck to somebody and then, you know, hike into his little spot to like hide out from the police and sit in the river until he gets caught or dies or something. I don't know what this guy did. But yeah, he said he didn't give a fuck, and I believed him. I was like, all right. So, you know, air conditioning obviously didn't work, so the windows were down, and this guy wasn't talking loud and couldn't hear too good. So it got to the point where we just like weren't really talking much for a stretch, and yeah, he just got tired. So right around Knoxville, unfortunately the start of Knoxville, he just like pulled off the highway. He's like, I'm fucking done for the day. I'm like, all right. Well, I guess I'm not getting to Nashville in a straight shot. But yeah, he just dropped me off there on the wrong side of Knoxville. Just by the wrong side, I meant like still had the whole of Knoxville to go. So luckily I did hitch a ride pretty quickly in what seemed like a bad spot, but this guy picked me up and he took me well across Knoxville and a little bit further, but still like in the gravity of Knoxville. So where he dropped me off, it was just kind of like, I don't know, one of those on-ramps that wasn't like a truck stop on-ramp or anything, so people weren't really going to be going anywhere. And to be honest, I was like, I got a couple days to get to Nashville, and luckily I do have a friend in Nashville, so if I got there early, I knew I could stay with him and was looking forward to it, actually. But I'm like, I could kind of kick it in Knoxville for a night. It's not that big of a deal. It was already getting later in the day. So I did give it a shot on one of the on-ramps trying to hitch out of there, but it was just like weird traffic. So I'm like, if I walk another hour or two, there's like a truck stop, and that'd be a better spot. I'm like, but if I don't get there till tomorrow, that's fine too. So eventually it was like getting towards dark, and I saw there was a brewery, so I'm like, yeah, let me just call it for a day and just like take it easy. So I popped in the brewery, but it was one of those like corporate kind of breweries, you know, super high ceilings, all about the food, you know, menus come out, there's no beer menu. It's like, okay, someone with millions of dollars just wanted to open up a restaurant and call it a brewery, and one of those kind of spots. So I ordered beer, and actually the beer was good, and the basketball game was on TV, and it was a good game, and because it was like one of those big corporate-y kind of, you know, Applebee's adjacent kind of restaurant breweries, they closed at 10, and the game wasn't over, and I was like, fuck, I kind of want to watch the end of this game. So I saw there was a dive bar nearby, so popped over to the dive bar, figured I would grab a couple PBRs, cheap beers, finish the game, and you know, find a place to camp. But, you know, dive bar, good vibes. So some dude was from out of town doing construction stuff. I was talking to him, and then by the time he was getting up and going, the game was ending. But then this like bartender girl came and sat next to me, and she was chatting me up, and we were kind of flirting and stuff, and just having a good time. And it was kind of like a bartender's bar, you know. So it was maybe 6 or 8 people in there, and then all of them were like bartenders who got off their shift kind of thing. So we're all just bullshit, and I'm kind of flirting with this girl, talking to her about travel, and starting to get ideas like something might happen with her. They did not, but I was there till like 2 in the morning, just, yeah, having a good time, and also thinking, maybe I'll end up with like a place to stay. But not so much, but still had a good time. But all of a sudden I was like, fuck, it's 2 a.m. I gotta figure some shit out. Luckily, I only had to walk like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes or something to find a good patch of woods to camp in and call it for the night. It's kind of funny because I was like on my way out of there. I'm like, yeah, I gotta, you know, dude asked me if I want another beer, and at that point I'm like, it's 2 a.m. I don't think it's happening with this girl, and I'm like, I gotta go, you know, I'll just take the check and I gotta figure stuff out. She's like, what do you mean figure stuff out? I'm like, I gotta figure out a place to sleep. She's like, oh, you're in luck. She's like, there's a bunch of hotels right here. I was like, oh. Yeah, I'm not about to explain to her that I can barely afford the beers I just bought there. Let alone getting a fucking $80 hotel room. So, like, oh, cool. Getting out of here. So, yeah, camped out. And then in the morning, I had an easy time getting to Nashville, actually. The first guy who picked me up was this 21-year-old dude. He's like, I'm not really going far, but I don't really have anything going on, so I'll give you a little ride out of town. And then as we got to talking, he was enjoying the conversation, so he's like, I'll give you a ride a little bit further. And then he realized that there was a big Buc-ee's. And if you don't know what a Buc-ee's is, it's kind of like a Texas thing, but obviously it's in Tennessee too and some other places. It's like a giant gas station, convenience store, restaurant, like cult following kind of place. So I'm like, oh, that'll be awesome. There's going to be like fucking 1,000 people there. Perfect. So not only did he take me there, but came in, he got me like a brisket sandwich and drink and stuff. And it's the biggest Buc-ee's I think I've been to. So it was, yeah, it's kind of spectacle in itself. And yeah, there's a lot of people there. So after eating my sandwich, I walked down to the on-ramp and kind of in no time got a ride from a truck driver who was going to freaking Arkansas or something. So he was going through Nashville. So I rode with him for a couple hours. He got on a whole Jesus kick. He had like cardboard signs and plenty of like Jesus paraphernalia here and there. And just a guy who used to follow fish, and his wife started doing the Jesus thing and he caught up into it and just became like his identity pretty much. So, you know, got to hear the old Jesus spiel for the 100th time hitchhiking. Issued me a couple Bibles on the way out, but he was a nice guy. Dropped me off downtown Nashville. And yeah, shortly after that, I caught up with my buddy, dude I've couch surfed with in the past, living here, because I was a night early for the house sitting thing. So caught up with him at his place, and fuck, we had a hell of a night. So he's like, let me take you out to the brewery, get you a bite to eat. I was like, yeah, it sounds awesome. And we went to this brewery, I think it's called Southern Grist, which was like really good beer. Got a couple flights each, and then we just got on top of it, you know, started drinking. He's like, let's go to this other spot, but then we wound up at this place called Skinny Dennis, which is like a venue, so there's, you know, it's Nashville, there's live music everywhere. So this was one of those spots. I guess it's a newer spot, real close to where he lives, East Nashville. So we were just at the Skinny Dennis place, and it's just like loaded with beautiful people and music and, you know, just drinking beers and bullshitting with people like deep into the night. And finally crashed at his place, and I woke up and already had to, you know, it was already like noon or something. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta get over to this house. So yeah, made my way to the house where I am now, where I'm pet sitting for this one little dog. She's pretty cool, like border collie, Labrador kind of mix. I don't know, she's cool. Didn't meet the guy, he just gave me the code. I'm not even sure where he is. I know he's out of the country on a trip. He sounded cool. But yeah, popped in, and yeah, so I'll be here for 10 days. I've already been here for half of that. Just kicking it. Nashville's pretty chill. I've mostly been trying to get like trip hopping, computer stuff done, take advantage of the place to myself and the peace. Did go out another night with my buddy because I'm pretty close. I'm like a 30-minute walk from where he's at, so we got after it again the other night. Been following that basketball game. It's the NBA Finals right now. Been going out again tonight. It's gonna be the last one. Game 6. We'll see. But yeah, Game 5 the other night. I was like, I'm gonna go out to this like little sports bar nearby. He's like, sweet, I'll meet you there. So we met there. And, fuck, this place is expensive. I was intentionally getting PBRs just because I'm like, PBRs. How much could they possibly charge for fucking Paps? Fuck, a lot. It might have been like $7 a can or something crazy, because it was like, what the fuck. Bill came, I'm like, geez, I'm getting drained. But he's like, fuck that, I can go for another beer. He's like, I'll get us another beer at this place nearby. So we went to this little tavern kind of spot nearby, which we thought was going to be pretentious like cocktail bar, and ended up being a pretty fun hang actually, and cheaper than the little what I thought was going to be like a dive sports bar. It was not. So anyways, that was a good night too. Just kicked it, and yeah, so I've been getting a lot of trip hopping stuff done, and freaking USA, back here for a little bit. So let me jump to the outro and just tell you a couple other things in my mind and what might be happening next, and maybe I can run into some of you guys. All right, we'll get into that. All right, so yeah, I got a few more days here in Nashville. Like I said, I'm excited for tonight actually. Just gonna, one of my favorite things about Nashville is just Nashville hot chicken, which is basically just like usually really delicious hot chicken with seasoned with like cayenne and paprika. It's fucking so good. And I usually go to the same like couple spots, but I'm gonna try a new one today, and then kind of brewery crawl my way back to the house. I think my buddy's gonna join me. I'll bet he does. So should be a fun night, just eating delicious chicken and watching some basketball, drinking some beers. Probably hit 2 different breweries. One's called Tailgate, the other one's called Crazy Gnome. The 2 I haven't been to that are on this little stretch in East Nashville. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, get some more trip hopping stuff done. Depending on when you're listening to this, there should be a couple new features up. Some are sort of behind the scenes, but the main one is travel partners. So go ahead and check that out if you want, depending on when you get there. It'll definitely be, the feature will be up, but it might be a little bit more robust if you wait wait a few days. What is it, June 19th? I'm recording this. By June 23rd, it'll be like fully up. But yeah, if you log into the trip hopping app, top right corner, click your face little menu, and then you'll see the travel partner page, and yeah, you can turn that on if you're looking for a travel partner, and be able to like say, you know, where you're trying to go, when, and like who you're trying to meet, what you're about, and see other people that are also around the world looking to link up and either hitchhike together or backpack together. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. All the different forums and everywhere travel related I go, there's always people like saying, hey, anyone want to hitchhike with me here, or anyone want to go to Europe this summer or something. People are always looking for travel partners in all these different like spaces. So I'm like, why not make like one little section specifically for that? And yeah, pretty simple. But as more and more people start using that, I'll make that better and better, just as far as you know, trying to match people up a little bit better, making search a little bit better, making it easier to put in criteria. You know, if like one person wants to stay in luxury hotels and is a big foodie, you know, they might not travel so well with someone who's on a tight budget and wants to hitchhike all the time. So, you know, just simple stuff. Just showing people the right people that they might get along with. Could be cool. Could be cool. Just one more thing to add into the whole trip hopping mix. So that's mainly what I've been fooling around with. Well, I've been here in Nashville, be doing a lot more this summer. And speaking of this summer, my idea from here is to just hit up the northern states during the summer. Definitely going to be going to Indianapolis next. Got a friend there. Try to see whenever I can, and it's been a little bit since the last time, so I'll be going to see him, and probably wind up in Michigan after that. And yeah, just around the Midwest after that. I got, you know, friends kind of scattered all over, so it'll just be kind of see how the days go, how the weeks go, who's where, who I can bump into, what's going on. Maybe do another house sitting stint somewhere for a week or 3. Get some more trip hopping stuff done. Maybe someone listening right now to me lives up in any of these states and wants to have like a mini trip hopping collective with even just 1 or 2 or 3 people for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. That'd be cool. If you want to collaborate, or you got ideas, or you just want to host a little event like that, that'd be cool. So anywhere. Minneapolis, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, Iowa, Montana, Wyoming. These are all places that I will most likely be in the coming weeks and a couple months. So hit me up if you're in any of those spots. If you just want to grab a beer or you want to, yeah, do some trip hopping stuff. It all sounds cool to me. So yeah, that's what's up. And I am getting really excited to eat some chicken tonight. That's going to be awesome. Hope you guys are all kicking ass, and I will see you down the road.
With all my shit straight, I'll get my big break.